All right. So in the last two sessions, what we did, we understood the Docker theoretical part in terms of Docker architecture, what is Docker is all about. And we also did the installation of Docker. Docker is basically a CLI tool, command line tool. We did some commands here and there just to understand what is image and what is container. All right. We just did very basic things, right? How to start container, how to stop container, all that thing. All right. So going ahead, we'll do a few more additional things and we'll try to see right, how we can manage our things inside the container as my applications and other things which are running in my container. So we'll do all that thing. Let me go and do the installation again. Right? Let's go to the cloud, AWS cloud. I've already logged in. As I said, always go to the EC2 instances. You can go from the services. Click here. EC2 is the short form of Elastic Cloud Compute. Right. So just click here. Basically, from here we can get our own virtual machines. But in cloud, we say EC instances. The machines are called instances. Currently, no instances are running. Right. So just click over here. And as I said, always refer the top bar. Immediately below the black bar, just all the options which are there, we will refer all the bar. Right? Left hand side is our scroll bar where we can just go and we can navigate and we can pick the items. But this is the main bar. The central bar is the main bar, and these are the options. So just hit the orange button because currently no instances are running. So just go ahead and hit the orange button to launch your first instance. We need this instance for our Docker installation. So I'll just go and do the create this instance and then we'll be install our Docker installation on this instance. All right, now the name of the instance, give any name. This is going to be my Docker machine, so I will just put the name as Docker. Capital letter, small letter, big letter, however you are comfortable, you can just give the name, it's just the name. All right, and then operating system, we spoke last time, we will go with the Linux and Ubuntu is the recent new flavor of Linux operating system. We will pick the Linux. Here we'll choose the Ubuntu Server 20.04 LTS, 22. The recent and most latest version, but that's fine. We will go with 20.04 latest version, which is latest means long-term support. So it is also covered in LTS, and both the versions are free tier, right? So if you ask me, 20.04 is widely used. People are moving with 22.04. So this is the Ubuntu version which we just picked. 64-bit architecture. Let it be default. Now, instance type, right? As I said yes last time, one CPU, 1 GB is good enough for our Docker installation. And one CPU, 1 GB instance, right? The title of this instance, the name of the family name of this instance is T2 Micro. AWS has various family and various configurations. Accordingly, based on configuration, it has given the names also, right? T2 Nano is 1 CPU, 0.5 GB RAM, and T2 Micro is 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM. And it's free tier also. Free tier means AWS is not going to charge me anything. It's absolutely free. And it's convenient for my Docker installation also. Right? Docker needs minimum resources. 1 CPU, 1 GB is good enough for my Docker installation. So we have picked up this, or you can in short remember T2 Micro. Login. Don't use username and password here. What we use our own key. So this is the key which I have created. Basically, it gives me pair of file. One is private file, one is public file. Public file will stay with my AWS account, which is already created by my name. So it will be associated with that. Private key will be available with me only. So just pick the thing. It will just remind you that this is the key name. Right. So I just chose that. So this has been chosen. Go down. Network security group. Network security group is nothing but our firewall thing, right? So you can create a new security group and then this security group you can make it standard and you can reuse and add all the port numbers, whatever you need for your applications and so on, so right, so on and so off. So you can do that, or you can use the previously created security groups also, right? So if you see my drop down box, there are two things. One is default and one is launch wizard one. Launch wizard one which we created previously, so I can reuse that. Just select it. First time you can just click on create and then just let it be there. By default, it will create by some name called launch wizard 1, launch wizard 2, something like that. Let it be there and we will reuse it. How to reuse that I'll tell you because today we'll be doing all that thing. I'll be enabling the port number, I'll be disabling the port number, all that I'll be doing it. So we'll be using the security group also today. So just select it. Storage configuration, by default, it comes with 8 GB RAM, which is fine. But we are good with 8 GB RAM. It's very convenient for my Docker installation. I can go up to 30 GB, which is absolutely free, right? So this is what it says. So you have to just come here and add the disk. You can just get it. So you can add the volume accordingly, but we don't need it. Let it be default, like 8 GB is default. And the left hand side, it gives you basically a summary, right? Whatever we have selected for this instance, this is the summary pane. The summary pane will give you all the details. So number of instances, I need only one. It is by default, it is one. If you want to have this with the same config, you want to have multiple machines, we can have 2 instances, 3 machines, or 4 machines, right? It depends, right? So but today we need only one machine, so I'll just put number one, all right? Because when we create a cluster type, I may need multiple machines, so that time I'll increase the number of instances. Today I need only one. All right, this is my configuration which I've selected, which is 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM. In short, I can say T2 micro family, right, which is my virtual server. It will take this. Basically, these are the templates, so it will automatically take the details from this template and it will create the instance. Firewall, we have already created this firewall group, which is Launch Wizard 1, right? It's a pre-existing group which I'm using for a few other purposes. That group, same group, I have attached it. And then volume, we are good with 8 GB RAM. And then if you're fine with all that thing, and it's all free tier, right? Here it will give you, if any chargeable, here it will give you a summary, right? So you can just, before hitting your launch instance, you can just have a understanding that whatever you picked the items all comes under free tier. All right. Now launch instance. Based on whatever configuration I picked up, right? It will now load my machine with those configurations. Right. So it says successfully initiated the launch of my instance. This I is the instance and this some number, random ID. So AWS maintains the machine ID, or I would say the virtual server which I picked up from AWS. It is having this ID. So you can click on this button, green bar. It will take you again back to your dashboard. This is basically called as our EC2 dashboard. Now you see this is the instance ID which AWS will do tracking and all that thing. I've given the name. You want to change the name anytime, just hit this edit button, select whatever you want, right? And accordingly, just select this uh, button, right? The, the, the correct arrow or the right arrow, and accordingly it will take the name. You want to edit, you can just edit it. So this pen is nothing but to edit and give the appropriate name. We have already given the appropriate name as our Docker instance. This is in running instance, right? T2 micro, all that you will see over here. Below pen, it will show you the details. If I just drag it slightly upwards. So here are some tabs: details, status and alarms, monitoring, security, all that thing. Right, security, where I will see my security group. Right, for firewall, we use this tab. Right, I'll be using this tab very frequently, so you'll also come to know. Storage and all that thing, if you want to see and if you want to attach anything, we have picked up 8 GB by default, which is fine, and it is attached automatically. Right, details, you see the public IP address of this machine, which we have picked up from AWS. This is my private IP. Private IP is basically the actual IP. All right. Now this is all on, still on browser. We want to connect to this machine, right? Which machine we want to connect? We want to connect to our machine. Our machine is Docker. This is the machine. So as I said, always we will take the all references from the top bar. The top bar is having the connect option. Only thing is you have to select it. If you don't select it, this button will be grayed, right? Because it doesn't know which instance you want to select, which you want to connect. So here is the button, and then you can just say connect. So when you hit the button connect, it will basically open the connect to instance uh, screen, right, for you with some options. You see these are the tabs: EC2 instance connect, session manager, SSH client. You can connect with SSH client, putty or anything. Then you come here and here are the steps. Right, just copy paste, right? Open your SSH client and then locate your file. Which file? The file which is your private key, right? My AWS 123.pam, and then give the read permission. So chmod 400 and your file name. So you have to give the read permission. Though you are admin, you are owner, you are managing this file, but still you have to give the read permission. And then finally copy paste this thing, so it will SSH to your machine. That means it will allow you remotely to log in, to take the control of your machine. You can remotely log in by using SSH command, right? Or you can directly connect from the browser itself, right? So EC2 instance connect, if you want to connect, here is the button connect, right? By default, it will connect with the username. The default username is Ubuntu, right? By default, it comes, right? So just launch, just say connect. Takes few seconds, and now we have connected to this machine. Right? This is the IP address of this machine. All right. If you want to verify, we can verify. What is the IP address of this machine? Private IP address. What is the IP address? 172.31.3.150. All right, 150. So you see, this is my IP address. 172.31.3.150 is my IP address, and we have already connected this machine to the user called Ubuntu. Ubuntu is the default user which comes by default on these machines by the AWS. AWS provides this normal user. This user is the normal user. We cannot use this normal user for our installation, because for installation we need the admin privileges, right? For that, first clear the screen. All right, so we have connected to this machine. Let me see if I can increase the font a bit.
I think the client has given an option of to zoom in 50% to 100%. I think we can zoom.
Yeah, yeah, that is what I was trying to do it, but it's gone somewhere else. Okay, already zoomed into what ratio. Let's see. Here's my zoom option.
I think we can do it from our side. I mean, I can see the clean screen is
Okay,
easy.
okay,
So we don't have
okay.
to adjust. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just adjusted it, all right, so that you can able to see. All right, thank you. Okay, so what we have to do in Linux, we have to use sudo command for our admin privilege. That means the root user we have to do. So sudo and then say one space and then say su. Su means super user or substitute user. Some people say substitute user, right? Or switch user. So it will switch to the user. Sudo means root user. Automatically it will switch. All right. Now and one space and put a hyphen sign. Hyphen sign when you put, it will not ask you for any password or anything. Right? And you have switched from Ubuntu user to root user. Right? So root user, for that we have to use sudo command. I'll share my PPT also. Right? So everything is covered here, like sudo su hyphen and all that thing is here. All right. Now let me clear the screen. So now we have to do the installation. Before installation, as a best practice, right, we have to do update, right? In the last session, we discussed about the update command, right? Whenever we have first time, whenever we do any installation, as a best practice, we should update. So when you update it, basically it will do all the scanning of the packages and create indexing, right? So because this OS image might be created few months ago, and after that there might be some additional package might be loaded on the OS. So we have to always do all the update command before we go ahead for any kind of installation as a best practice. All right. So apt get is the command. Apt get, we'll say apt get or apt get, and we have to update. So if you see here, it will do the numbering here. Get, right. So up to 42 packages it has verified, right? So if you see, it begins with one, right? It begin with one, and then we have completed around 42, and it will say that 100% work. Basically, it creates indexing. All right, so indexing has been done. So all the package listing and everything has been done indexing. So it's as a best practice, we should do update. Now, this was the command which we use. Now the next command is install, because we have to install Docker on this machine. All right, so I will use apt-get install Docker. Right, the Docker package name is docker.io on Ubuntu. Right, since we are on Ubuntu operating system, right, the package name for Docker on Ubuntu is docker.io, and I would say hyphen hyphen yes. Right, hyphen hyphen yes means it will do silent installation by taking yes yes for all the questions which it will ask me. This path, should I do the installation on this path and all that thing. By default, it will take yes, yes, and it will do silent installation. So just one command, and then my Docker will be installed.
Prashant, one doubt
Yes,
here. You
sure.
mentioned that the package differs from line OS to OS, or it's common?
It's common.
Okay.
Whenever you do, we do just update. We don't mention any package name or anything. Just
No,
update.
no, no. My question is docker.io is the package name you mentioned, right? It is,
Yes,
it's, will it differ from OS to OS? Because now we are using
yes,
Ubuntu. If I
yes,
want to go
yes,
for
yes.
Linux, okay. Okay.
It will differ. So if you see my slide,
Mhm.
so if I want to install on CentOS operating system, let's say the Linux but on CentOS, right? Then package name will be just Docker,
Okay.
right? So here I say yum install Docker and hyphen y or hyphen yes, right? So hyphen y means yes. If I'm installing on Ubuntu, then the package name will be docker.io. So it will vary.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. So looks like my Docker installation has been done. So the first command is always docker hyphen version, right? So this is the Docker version which we have installed. 20.0.5 is the version we have installed, and we have installed on Ubuntu 20.04 LTS version, right? So this is my version where we have installed. And nowadays all packages come with a build number, all right? Because same version, you might have some added some other features or some upgrades or some fixes. So it comes with a build number so that it gives the full version of this package along with the build number, all right? So in the last session, as I said, whenever we use in Linux, whenever we use double hyphen, we have to give the full argument. You have to type the full argument. In short, if you want to use, right, instead of hyphen v, we can use single hyphen and the first letter of the argument. So that means I can use hyphen v, right? You will also come to know, right, once you are having hands-on with Linux and you are used to Linux, you will also come to know about all this. But it's basically a trick. Double hyphen means full argument, single hyphen means just say v, and it will display the same thing. Both are same. Output will be same. Only what we are doing here is we are using some shortcut. All right. So my Docker installation is done here, and then we have one more command called docker info. Docker info will give you all the configuration details, right? Whatever configuration your Docker installation has done in the background, you can display all that configuration using this command called docker info. All right. So this is the thing which we have already done. Basically, I'm just summarizing what we did in the last session. So this is my client version. This is my server version. All right. This is my server version is here, all right? And then it will give me the statics also. How many containers we have created, how many containers are running, how many are paused, how many stopped, how many images have been downloaded, right? All that it will give you the statics. Currently, we have not done anything. We have just done the installation only. We have not spin up any containers yet. So it will say like that, right? So this command we use very frequently, and I'll be using also as and when I'll be using plugins, drivers, or any additional things. I'll be taking reference of all the things from docker info command, and I'll get to know where are my plugins, what is the name of plugin, what is the name of drivers, and all that thing. That anyhow we did in the last session. I will not invest much time on this command again. All right, now to check, right, or to refresh few commands which we did in the last session. So docker ps is the command. PS means print the status of running containers, right? Print the status of only running containers, right? So when you type it here, this is just the header, but no containers are running. This is the header it gives, right? This command gives you the running status of the running container, right? But currently none of the container is running. So no container ID, right? From which the container is running, no image, right? Nothing is there. So it is empty. Same way for images also we have docker images command. All right. So these are the some commands, right? Plain vanilla command which we use for images and containers. Docker is all about images and containers. So let's begin with something. So last time we understood something. So before that, let me clear one slide so that you can understand, and I'll be able to explain you what I want to say about these two commands. All right. So basically, what happens in Docker? There are two things. One is called image, and one is called containers. All right. Only two things, not much thing. Right. There are not too many things so that we will not get confused. So what we do, basically, we have to pull the image. Make this fonts a readable format at least. So Let me make it bold. All right. So what we do basically, we do Docker pull. All right. We have to do Docker pull. Docker pull is basically image command. So whenever we have to pull, we have to give some image name, right? So we can give any image name, right? Ubuntu, we can give any image name, or Nginx, we can give any image. Last time we did with Hello World, right? All that we did, right? And all these images will get pulled from where? From our repository, right? Basically, we don't say repository, we say registry server. Let me open our registry server, which is hub.docker.com, right? Or if you come here, Docker Hub. As I said, hub keyword, right? This terminology is standard. Hub means something which is publicly available, right? As free of cost, or I would say community version, right? Or open source in plain vanilla terms. So Docker Hub. So hub.docker.com. So like GitHub, we have Docker Hub. GitHub is open source repository where we can create our own repository and we can do whatever we want to do. Right. Same thing. We have this GitHub repository. Right. If you want to, if you already sign in, always sign in. It will make your details and everything available. Let me sign in. Right. Just remember your username and password. Let me log in with my credentials. All right, so I've logged in with here. So this is my, right, the name, the initial, my initial is displayed over here. And when you log in, it will display all the details about your user and all that. So we are on Docker Hub. All right, so all the images are over here. So let me go and search image. For example, I want to do search, right? So we can search anything, right? We can search any image, Apache or anything. We can just search it, right? HTTP server, if I want to search, for example. Right, HTTP server is basically Apache server, right? Web hosting server. So we can just go and we can pick this guy. All right. Now here, whenever you click, right, it will display the whole details of that particular image. Right. All these are images, right? Official images. You see the title official images, and which official image HTTPD is basically it's an Apache web server, right? And it's a Docker official image, right? So you will get some logo also wherever Docker has approved, validated, verified, right, and authenticated images, and it's verified by Docker. You will see this logo, Docker official image. That means it's verified, and it has been downloaded 1 billion plus, right? More than billion. 1 B plus means more than billion times it has been downloaded, and this is the rating 4.56K, which is very good rating. So here you will see who's maintaining. Docker community itself is maintaining this image, right? If you need some more help, you can just join their online groups where they will also be part of the group. You will get all the updates, all the notification, all the information as and when somebody is updating, modifying, right? They will publish the information, and you are part of the group. You will also be get the details of it. So you can join the Docker community Slack group, right? Or server fault group, or Unix and Linux particular group, right? Or Stack Overflow, right? So all these groups are already available. Just click and you can do. All these are hyperlinks, all right? So you can just get the details. Tags, tags are nothing but versions, all right? Tags are nothing but versions. So these are the supported version. 2.4.58, I believe it's most recent version. All these versions are available here, right? All the flavors are available here. In case if you want to need, if you are looking for previous version, there's one more option here called tags. The moment you click on tags, it will display all the versions, right? So it will display all the versions, and you will see some which operating system and all that thing it will display here. So this the tag is latest, and it will pick the latest image, and you will see the size and all that thing. You will also find the command also along with the latest, along with the keyword latest, right? So all that you will find over here. So this is how we will be taking this Docker Hub repository, right? So I'll take something interesting today so that we can understand it. So let me go to Nginx, right? I'm not sure whether you're aware or not, but I'll give you all the information related to this Nginx. Nginx is again very hot topic in the market, and we will also try to take some information, and we will try to use this image Nginx also for our purpose, right? An official build of Nginx, right? What is Nginx? So again, you can, it is maintained by Docker group, right? Docker maintainers, they are managing it. So Docker itself is managing this Nginx application. Docker community Slack group and all that thing, you can register. These are the versions, right? So 1.25.3 is the latest version, and all that version we will talk, and we will also take few versions from here. Some quick references, because since we are new and you have no idea about it, basically this is kind of the documentation for every image. When you click on this, this is basically documentation. So this page will give you all the information related to that particular images. In my case, I've selected Nginx image, so it will display over here. So that is the how you should read this page. That is what I'm telling you here, right? That is what we are discussing. So quick references, if you want to find any file issues or anything. So nowadays, all issues we are managing on a Git repository, right? Single repository where all the issues, solution, resolutions, their fixes, everything is available on the GitHub repository. So in GitHub Nginx Inc is the vendor, and the Docker Nginx, that means the container image, right? And the issues, right? If you go here, it will open the GitHub references related to all the issues of Nginx, right? So you can go and you can track, and you can also log. If you are finding some issues, you can also log, and there are people who will support you, right? The ticket and number will be assigned, and they will be working on that thing. Architecture, so it supports almost all the architecture, right? AMD 64 to all the things, right? i386, right? All that thing version it supports. Published image, right? If you are looking for a particular repository, right, all the artifacts of Nginx, and you want to understand, you want to deep dive with Nginx, right? So you can just go and go to the repository of Nginx. Here you will find all the things, all the details along with the metadata, transfer size, file size, and everything you will get all the details. Updates if you want. Official repository you can go to. Library is basically Docker Hub. Docker Hub is also called by library, right? So what is library? Where we keep books. But in Docker's terminology, Docker library means all the Docker container images. All right. So here you will see these are the labels and all that thing. So you can find it. If you are looking for the source of this particular Nginx, right, you can go to this repository. You will find all the documents and all the information about this Nginx. So basically, this page is for particular application, right? So now, since we are new, right, we don't know about this Nginx, right? So what is Nginx, right? So here they have given the brief summary of this application so that we can understand what this application is all about, right? So Nginx, how it is pronounced? Basically, it's an Nginx. So what they have done is they have dropped the letter E from the beginning and the E from the end, right, from the tail. So from the head and from the tail, or I would say from the beginning and from the end, they have dropped the letter E, right? And that is how we pronounce this as Nginx. All right, this is we pronounced as Nginx, right? What is this Nginx? Nginx is an open source reverse proxy server for HTTP, HTTPS, SMTP, POP3, IMAP. That means it supports almost all kind of protocols. So variety of protocols it supports. All right. It also acts as a load balancer, right? It also acts as a load balancer. Basically, Nginx, when it was launched just as a web hosting server. You can publish your website, you can launch your websites, you can host all your portals, everything into this web hosting server. It is like Apache server, if you know JBoss server, or if you know any web hosting server, WebLogic, WebSpace, same thing like that. Nginx is also come up in the market, and recent times it's become very, very popular. Why? First of all, it is an open source, right? And later it is giving me all the features. It is acting as a reverse proxy server. It is acting as a load balancer, right? So many features has been added to Nginx, right? HTTP caching agent also it works, right? Basically, when first time Nginx was launched in the market, right, it was just a web server. The origin, right, that is how the Nginx was. The origin, it was just with a small thing called web server. But today, so many features are there in Nginx, right? It was just a web hosting server, right? Now, Nginx project started with a strong focus on high concurrency and high performance at a low memory. This is the crux. Why Nginx is so popular in last few years, right? Same thing like Docker and Kubernetes. Nginx is so popular. Why? Because of this feature, right? At a low memory, it gives me high concurrency and high performance, right? At a low memory. This is the crux of this part, and it's open source. So it takes very low memory and gives me high performance, right? None of the software, none of the application, none of the web hosting servers are like that. But Nginx is at a low memory gives us a very high performance. And that is the catch of the eye. Everybody is trying to use Nginx, and it's very stable software. Right? It's a very stable application. You can launch your portal, right? Nginx will manage it, right? And this is the crux: low memory, and it gives you high concurrency, high performance. All right? It is licensed under BSD, right? Two clause BSD. BSD means you can even customize the code. You can take the source code of Nginx, you can customize it. It's open, purely free, absolutely free. BSD license, right? It comes with a BSD license, which is absolutely free. You cannot only use for your commercial purpose, right? But you can even customize the code, and you can customize the whole Nginx based on your requirement, right? Because it's under BSD, so nobody will claim you, nobody will trouble you, right? It's not GPL, or it's not a volatile license. It's not a reciprocal license. It's just a BSD license, right? Now it runs on Linux, right? It's very much compatible on Linux, right? Or any other BSD variants, right? It is it's compatible on Mac OS, right? If you are on Mac, it is compatible on Mac. It supports Solaris, it supports AI, it supports HPUX, right? As well as all the Linux flavors, right? As well as all the Linux flavors. Star means all Linux flavors. It supports, right? Now it also we did a proof of concept on Windows. That means it supports Windows also, right? So all the types of operating system in the market it supports, right? So that is why it is very universal, right? Web server, and the crux is low memory, high concurrency, high performance, right? And that is the reason Nginx is very popular in the market, right? It has, right, people have moved away from all the previous web hosting servers, right? Apache and all that thing. People moved to Nginx, right? So this is the thing. This is the use of Nginx. How to use? They have given all the command and everything. All right. So I'll also go and use Nginx, and we will see the power of this. All right. So let me go and create one container using Nginx. Right now here I was talking that there are two commands. One, we have to pull the image. That means we have to download the image. Right. Image has to be downloaded all the time. I cannot run the content directly from the Docker Hub, right? We cannot run the content directly from Docker Hub. It has to, image has to be downloaded on the local machine. Why we have to download it? Because who will provide the resources? When I say resources, means CPU and memory, right? So it will take the look from the local machine. It will take the resources, right? So CPU and memory it will take, and it has to run on my local machine. So we have to download the image, right? For that we use pull command. All right. For that we use pull command. Once image is downloaded, then what we do? We run, we start the container, right? So Docker run. And what is the definition of container? Running instance of an image, right? So Docker run is a container command. It will start my container from the image, right? So Docker run command we have to do, right? So that means we have to always do these two commands: pull the image and then run to start the container, right? Always we have to do this thing, right? Yes, we have to do always this. But after some time, when once you are familiar with Docker pull and Docker run command, all that thing, we can just run one command called Docker run only. Docker run command, what it does basically, it automatically search. It automatically do the search on my local machine, right? It automatically does a local search on my local machine, whether this image is available or not. So it will do the searching, right? It will first search on my local machine whether you want to start this container, that image is available on your local machine. You might have downloaded previously. So the image is already available. You don't need to do pull again because this image is available. No, you don't need to download this image again and again. It's already downloaded. So Docker run command, what it does, first of all, it will search the image on your local machine, right? And if it finds it, it will start the container from the downloaded image, because since the image is available, it will start the container directly, right? If it's not there, right? If it's not there, then Docker run command will also, right? If it's not there, then Docker run command will also start downloading the image first automatically, right? It doesn't depend on pull command. Basically, Docker run command does both the operations, right? Pull and run, both the command it will do. So Docker run command, we use only standard command most of the time. Initially, I may be using Docker pull command because we are just new to Docker and we don't have idea. So we just know that, okay, we have to pull the image and then we have to start the command. But going forward, Docker run command will do both the job. It will do the search on my local machine whether the image is available or not. If the image is available, it will start the container from that image which is available. right? So it will already, right? Image is already available, so it will not just go and again pull the image. Image is already available. It will start the content from that downloaded image, right? It will start the content directly. If it's not there, then it will pull the image and it will start. All right. So then it will also start downloading the image, right? And then start the content from that image. Right? So you have to remember these things. So going forward, it will save time for me also, right? So instead of running parallel to multiple commands, with single command, I can manage the thing. So I will not do this part. I'll just use docker run command, right? Not two commands, only one command, and let's see the difference. All right. So let's go in and we will do that. Where is my instance here? So if I say docker images, nothing is there, right? When I say docker ps, nothing is there. So what I will do, I will not use docker pull command. What I will use docker run command directly, right? Docker run command, I will run in background -d. I have to create interactive session and -t for terminal, right? INT, they always come together. Interactive means what? Interactive terminal session. So it will create a sudo terminal session for me. And in that session, whatever I want to do, I can do, right? So it will create one session for me and I'm running in background. So as I said in the last time, we can club this together, right? So that means hyphen is applicable to all the three arguments, -d, -i, -t, all right? And then we also want to give the name to our container. So I will use this uh, argument called name, and we can give some name to this container. Let's say test123 is the name of my container. And at the end, right, always at the end, give the image, right? And I want to start this image on some port number. So -p, small p for port number. So port number, let's say 80:80. All right, 80:80. Right? Always we do port in this format, right? Only in this format, Docker will understand. Now, what is this format? We call port forwarding. How? After colon is basically my container port number. Before left hand side of the colon is nothing but my host machine. I want to start container on this machine on this port number, right? And it will do port forwarding for the container, right? It will do port forwarding for my container on port 80. So we always have to give 80:80. It is my host machine port number, and after colon is my container. So my host machine will start this container on this port number. So we have to do port forwarding. So we have to always give 80:80. This is the format we always give the port numbers, right? So this is how we will give the port number. And what is the image, right? Let's say Nginx latest, right? Nginx latest. This is what I want to use, right? So let's say Nginx latest. So as I said, if you see here, right, it will do the local search. It's what it says, unable to find the Nginx image locally. That means on my local machine, it didn't find the image Nginx. And it's true also because I have never downloaded that image. So it will do a local search on my thing. It says unable to find this image locally. So what is the next step? If it didn't find the image, what is the next step? We'll start pulling the image. We'll pull with the latest tag from library. Library means Docker Hub and which image? Nginx. So it will pull. So you see, start pulling the image, right? You start pulling the image, and as I said, digest number is nothing but the image ID, and it's a NASA format which we call SHA-256. This is the image ID, and the status. It says okay, downloaded the newer image of Nginx with the tag Nginx latest. So this has been downloaded, right? And it start the container also, right? So it does both the things. So first it will pull the image, right? This is the image. Normally, when you say Docker pull, up till here, you will get the output. It will pull the image and it will get. And this is my container ID, right? How do you know? Let's go and verify with our command. Docker ps when I do. So this is the ID, but for us, 12-digit ID only. So beginning 12-digit ID, you see this is here, right? The beginning 12-digit ID, which is here. It begins with 66F and some number. This is my 12-digit ID. How do you know 12-digit ID? Let me put the count, right? So four in my middle, four on my left hand side, four on my right hand side, and four on middle. So 12-digit ID. So for us, 12-digit ID, but basically it's a huge number, right? So it maintains the UUID with the long ID But for us, only the beginning 12 digit is for us, for our reference. So this is my container ID, from which image we have started this container from Nginx latest, right? From Nginx latest, we have started this container. Command, I'll talk probably tomorrow. We will talk about this part also because we have not yet reached that point, right? So I need to give you so many details and then we will get these details. But very soon we'll jump to that thing and then I'll tell you. So just skip for today's session. Just skip this part. We will discuss little later. When it got created, just a minute ago, right? Just now we created this thing. What is the status? Is it up and running or not? Yes, it is up and running, right? Since last 1 minute, it is up and running. What is the port number? Port forwarding we did, we have not whitelisted any IP address, so it is open for all, right? And then 80:80, right? And it is open, it is running on this container, right? Can we do the testing on this thing? This container, can we do testing? We have to just go and open the port number. So I'll go to my EC2 instances, open this port 80 at this Docker machine. So where we have to go? We have to go to the security tab. All right, just come here in security tab and just look for security group, right? Security group, there's a hyperlink, right? This is the group, security group. Just click on this hyperlink, it will open the firewall window. All right, in this window you will see all these port numbers and all that thing, right? So this security group, this is the security group, this is the ID of security group. The name of security group is launch wizard 1, right? If you have remember, right, while creating this instance I have selected my previous security group. The name was launch wizard 1. All right, inbound outbound rules, always click on inbound rules, incoming traffic, right? So inbound rules and click on the edit button here, right? This is the common practice, right? So many ports, right? Because since this is my existing group, security group, so I do a lot of things here, right? So you have to just come here and open port, any of port 8 is open for you, right? Come here on add rule, right? Whenever you want to add any new port number, click on the add rule, it will open the window, right? No need to select the protocol, right? TCP, UDP, ICMP or any other port, no need to select. Always come to this thing, right? Which, what is the header? Port range, right? In the port range, we can define the range of the port or even single port can be defined. So just come here and just say port 80 here, right? Port 80, and if you want to open for all, say 0.0. If you want to do whitelisting, you can do whitelisting, right? So for us, for testing, we will not do whitelist, we open for all, right? And then you have to just come down and save because you have just attached a port number, right? Port 80 you have attached, just say save. When you save it, it will save. But for me, it says already exist, right? For me, it is already exist, right? I just did it just to make you aware, all right? So just go back. So if you see here, previously I've added port 80 and it's here. Right? That is why it is say that it already exists. This guy, when you add port 80, it will automatically change the protocol, right? Because 22 protocol is for SSS to take the remote session, right? FTP and all that thing, right? So this guy will always take the protocols automatically. You have to just add the port number. So this is what we did. So this is already there. So I cannot save it. So I delete it, right? So only this tab, right? Add rule and then add port number. Now go back to EC2 instances. All right. So this is the Docker machine where we have just started the Nginx container. So whenever you want to test from outside, always take the public IP. Never ever take the private IP. Private IP is the actual IP. If you publish your application on the private IP for outside world, right, people will know this is your actual IP. They will start attacking your application because you have exposed your actual IP to the whole world, right? And it is very easy for the intruders or the hackers, right? They will attack on the actual IP. So what we do, we encapsulate our private IP on by some public IP, and public IP act as some dummy IP, but it is binded. It is binded. So all public IP for security reasons, right? So that nobody knows what is my actual IP of the application. So just go to the browser, okay, and then paste this IP address. What is the port number? My container is running Nginx port 80. All right, and just hit the enter button, right? So that means my container Nginx running is, since it's a web application, so you will see a HTML page, right? It says if you see this page, the Nginx web server is successfully installed and working, right? Further configuration. So my Nginx is running, right? Let me share this with you guys so that you guys can also test with me. I'm putting this on chat. Open the browser and copy paste this link, right? This IP address and port number, and then you will also feel that how my application is running inside the container. All right, so here and give port AP. So I've just pasted the IP address and the port number on the chat. Guys, just if you're on mobile phone also no problem. All right, open the mobile browser and type this IP address 3.135.204.23:80. Right, you should also be able to see the same page of Nginx like I'm seeing my Nginx is running, my container is running, and displays the default home page of Nginx. You should also see the same. Are you able to see, guys? Anyone?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
we are able to.
Go.
Yes.
Very good, fantastic. All right, so my container is running and we are able to see it. All right, so let me go in. All right, so this is running. So what I did, Docker PS, this container is running. What is the name I gave? Test123 is my container name, and I have exposed on port 80, so I'm able to see on port 80, and it is still up and running, and we are able to see it. All right, now what I'll do, right? We will do something, and we'll do. I'll stop this application, right? So Docker stop. You can give container ID or container name, right? Let me give the name. Test123 is my container name, right? This is the name I'm using, right? This is the name, Test123. So I'm stopping it, right? And now if I just go and say Docker PS, right, the container is not running because PS will display only the running status. So I have to do -a, and you see this container exited 8 seconds ago, right? It is no more running. Now what happens if I just go and do a refresh? Because this application, this container is not running. Just do a refresh, reload, still going on, going on. It should fail, okay? It's taking so much time.
Clear the browser and try.
Yeah. So what it says, this cannot be reached because I stopped my application. Right? Nginx was running inside the container. Now what did I do? I stopped it. Right? I stopped it. Right? Now let me restart it again. So what is the opposite of stop? Start. Right? So I'll start it. Let me start it. So my container test123 started. I don't know. So let me check the PS status. Yes, it is up and running from last 4 seconds again. Now if you go to the browser and you refresh again one more time, right? Reload or refresh, my application is again back up and running. All right, my application is back up and running. Right now you see the power of container. You have to just start the container. That's it. Right. So currently we have not hosted any website. My business portal or your portal we have not hosted. So it will display default page. If your portal is hosted, just click on any link. Just see the power of internet. Right. Full website is running on this container, and it is a full website of Nginx, right? So you can just go to any product. So there are so many Nginx products, right? So Nginx Plus, App Product, Protect, Amplify, Gateway Fabric, Management Suite, Ingress Controller Unit, or Kubernetes, any page you want to open, I'm opening this page, Nginx, right? Or if you want to go to the resources, you can go to any resources. Let's say Ingress Controller. All right, let's say you want to go to the blog. I want to participate in blog, right? So just go to technical blog, news blog, opinion blog, right? All the blogs, right? If I want to go for support page, right? Which application you want to take support, right? So support portals are available here. Which partner? Nginx works with so many partners, right? You can also become partner, right? All that get Nginx F5. F5 basically for firewall load balancing. Nginx acts as a load balancing also, right? So you see the full portal is running inside my container. If you have launched your business portal, you will see all your business portal itemized way. You can navigate to your portal, right? Because your full-fledged portal will be visible. It is running on Nginx. Currently, we have nothing. We have not launched any portal, so we'll see by default Nginx portal only. Right? So my full business portal is running inside the container, and that is the reason whole world is migrating towards containers. Right? And it's very simple also. You have to just start your application. That's it. right? No hurdles for installation, configuration, nothing. As I said in my first session, everything should come from the image. Anyhow, we will be learning that, right? Once we start building our own image, I'll be picking up all the things, right? Even the service port number, variable, environment variable, everything, right? But I'm just giving you a small gist of it so that we can understand it. So my Nginx is running from this Nginx image, right? And port number 80, we just open it and everything is running. By default, it takes always TCP. TCP is the default protocol, right? So my container is running, up and running. All right. Now, do you see the source code of your application here? Right. When you do ls, right? Snap is basically its Ubuntu folder. Right. It's not related to Nginx or any other application. It's a OS folder. Right. Snap is operating system folder. It's Ubuntu. Right. When you have Ubuntu machine, you will see this folder as a default folder as a snap. Right. So Nginx is not installed because we have not done any installation. What we have done, we have just run the container from the image, right? So container is what? Running instance, but on my local machine, you will not find any source code, right? It's run in its own shell. So it's a running application. That's it. You have to start the application. All right. So what happens is how much traffic, which processor, right? Or what CPU and all that it has taken. So what we do, we have some commands here. All right. Anyhow, I'm going to send you the list of the commands and all that thing, so you don't worry about it. Let me give you the thing about it. So all these commands I will share with you guys. All right. So all these commands you will come to know. Right. So I'll share this command with you guys very shortly. All right. So Docker stats. Right. When you run this command, right, Docker stat will tell you that this is your container ID. Right. Your container name is test123. Right. This is the container we extracted from Nginx. The name of container is from the name of the container is test123. Right. How much CPU it is used? Currently silent. We have not done anything on this application. Right. We have not launched anything. No business portal. Nothing. Right. So it is silent. So zero CPU utilization. What is the memory utilization it is doing? Right. 2.33 MB. Right. 2.33 right MB. Right. So this is what is the size? 1 GB. Right. We have taken 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM. Right? So in percentage, not even 1%, 0.24 percentage, right? As I said, Nginx uses low memory and gives high performance. All right. And this is the block storage and all that thing, input IO and all that thing it will give you. How many processor IDs? Two processor IDs. Basically, it's running on PID. All right. So this is how we always use, right, to know the CPU and memory of my particular application, particular container. Right? What is my CPU utilization? Right? What is my memory utilization? What is the limit available? Everything will be. All right. So this way, each and every detail is displayed with the container ID, container name, all that thing. And then we are running only one, so it will display only one. If you have 10 containers, it will display the details of all the 10. All right. So what is the command? Control C, Control Z you have to do to come out. Right. So I use stats command. Right. Out of 10, if you want to see only the details of one container, let's say I want to see the details of this test container, test123, right? So just type it here, test123. You are not interested to see all the 10, only one particular container. It will display the details of that container on. You can explicitly give the name or the ID of that container. It will display the CPU memory utilization only of that container. Currently we have one, but we can give the names and we can explicitly take care of what is the CPU utilization of that particular container. We'll get it. All right, Control Z to come out of it, right? So this is what we do. There's one more command, Docker top command. Right? Okay, it says give one more argument. So let's say test one, two. All right. So let me clear the screen. So Docker PS, this is our container name or ID. You can give anything. So I'll take the container ID this time, copy, right? And what is the command? Docker top. Top command is also basically give you the resources utilization. Resources when I say means CPU and memory. Whenever I say resources means I'm talking about CPU and memory. So you see here, this guy was running on two CPU, right? Engine was running on two PID, right? One PID right, with the user. UID means root user, right, which is my user, root user, because we log in with the root user. So root user using the PID processor. Which processor? This is the processor 4294, right? This is the processor it is using, right? And this is the uptime, right? So you will see the time and all that thing here, right? Nginx also use the system MD, right? Internal, using for its own Nginx worker process and all that thing. So there are two PID, 4294 and 4329, right? And this is the same command when we use the stats command. When we use stat command, it says two PIDs, right? The top command will give you even the details of processor ID. If you want to find out which processor ID your application is running, you can find it out by using top command, or the stats command. It will give you the statics, right? It will give statics of your current resource utilization on your particular container. You will display by using stats commands or the top command. Any of both the commands are included here. All right,
Prashant,
both the
here,
commands are, yeah.
sorry, yeah. Now we have ran the only Nginx container, right?
Mm.
So in this one, it should display only one PID, right?
Two, no, it says two PIDs.
But how do we know
Nginx,
which one is related to Nginx? Suppose if
I
I
think
want to,
this is my last command. The
yeah,
top command will give me the details. See,
I
this is my
understand.
root
Yeah.
user and Nginx, right? So Nginx, there are two processors, master process and worker process. So Nginx worker processor is running on this PID
Okay, okay.
4329,
Master and worker.
and this is
Okay,
an,
okay.
yeah,
Child
so it
process.
is
Okay,
running on, yeah,
okay,
it has child process, yeah, two
okay.
PID. That is why it shows two, number two.
Mm.
All right, guys. So this is how a few commands are really important. All right. Now, what was the command? Docker ps to print the status of running container, and for all, whether it is running, not running, we use -a. All right, -a. Right. And then we have Docker images. All right. So these are the things. Last time we talked about the root directory of Docker. All right. What was the root directory of Docker? If you don't know, always go to info command.
Lib directory.
Right. So
Where lib Docker.
exactly. Right. All right. So if you see one container we are running, is it running? Yes, it is running. How many images? So it will dynamically update the statics here, right? This one. But we are looking for root directory path. Root directory path is here, Docker root directory. What is Docker root directory path? Varlib Docker. Why I am coming here on Varlib Docker, right? Just to show you some information. That is why I'm using it. So let me clear the screen. All right. So ls and paste this path. So here, these are the folders, containers, images, everything, right? So what is my container? We are running Docker PS, right? And now if I go to this path, or before that, let me display the information of even the image, Docker image. So Docker image, and we'll go to this folder and verify. All right. So you have to go to this path. So I will say cd and then var lib docker, this path. Inside where I have to go? In the containers folder. All right. So let's say containers. All right. Now, if you do ls here, right, you will see your container. This container is running. Which container? The container with IDs, something begin with this ID, 7BCA1518E66, right, which is basically coming from here. The full ID, but this is our beginning 12-digit IDs for our reference, right? So the containers, right, under this part, if you go to varlib docker and under containers part, you will see all the details of containers. That is what I said in the last session, but we have not verified. Today we are even verifying by going inside the path, and we see, yes, this is the container running, and inside the container it maintains the ID. So all container artifacts information will be stored under container folder. So let me go to the one step back, right? Again varlib docker, and when you do ls, now go to images folder, because we want to see the images. All right. Now, if you do ls, images has a overlay, right? So let's go to the overlay folder. Overlay is basically the storage thing. Now we are here. All right, we are here. So it image basically stores metadata in various format, right? So distribution folder, image DB, it's internal database, layer DB, right, which I'll talk little later. Repositories of JSON. Just open this file, cat repositories.json file. If you open this file, you will see the details of your image. What image you have downloaded? Nginx latest. And this is my SHA number. Nginx comes with its own SHA. SHA is NASA format which is comes, and there's some layer with Nginx. So we'll see all the details of your images inside the images folder, container inside the containers folder. So that is how it maintains the artifact. That is how it maintains the artifacts, right? So let me come out of this folder, right? And now if I do docker ps, so this is the container. If I remove this container, guys, what is the command to remove a container? Last time we discussed rm command, isn't it?
RM.
All right, rm command to remove it, right? Always use -f, or you have to first stop this container and then delete this container. Stop. Which container? Test123 is my container which we started. It is stopped. Now if I want to use docker rm and give your container, right? I will use same name again, test123. So it is removed. If I just go and check docker ps -a, container is nothing, no content. Why? Typo error. Docker ps -a, nothing is running, right? And if I go to that folder again, right? If I go back to that folder, right? I'll just use ls command. Ls, what was the path? Var lib docker, the root folder. Inside that containers, right? You see nothing is running inside this container. When you do ls on this path, you will not find anything because I've deleted that container. So it will automatically put artifacts into that path, varlib docker containers, and details there. Once you remove it, it will go off. Same way for my image also, right? Let me try that. So instead of container, I'll go to the images. Inside that overlay 2 folder, inside that what is the path? Repository.db, and I'll use cat command to see the content of file, not the list, but the contents of cat. So this image is here. Why it is here? Because in my local machine, this image is still present, right? If
And
I
also,
remove this image, yeah, go ahead.
if you see that latest timestamp, right, it's not being updated, even though we have. I mean, I think image will not store here. It just will launch that container and updates the status of it.
You mean to say this one?
Yeah, this file was updated or not. Whatever that,
Okay.
repositories dot JSON, right? Whatever we have seen it, it's not
Mhm.
updated. You see the timestamp.
Where should I see the timestamp?
If you just do ls-l, right here itself, in the cat
ls
lsl,
hyphen l.
yeah.
Okay.
If you go to the path of where lib docker image and under the overlays, right?
Okay.
If you go,
So
I don't.
var lib docker images folder, or just
Yeah,
var lib
image.
docker.
Yeah, image
Okay.
and overlays too as well.
Overlay two. Okay.
Yeah, if you do the LSL of that repositories, yeah, if you see it's not updated. It's a 312, right? Whatever is being updated,
Mhm.
it's not. I mean, what
No, this is UTC time, minus 5.5 hours. All
yeah,
will
but
see, this is today's date and time, 29 January. It's UTC time. You see, at the same time it got created. The layer DB of Nginx put in the layer folder, and this is under that folder. All right. So I'm not talking about this file. We are having these details in this folder of Nginx. All right. Why? Because my image is present still. I have not removed the image when I say Docker images. All right. So this image is available, right, inside this folder. And this created means somebody uploaded on Nginx hub. That is Nginx. We have not created this image, so you will not see today's date and time. This image we pulled from Docker hub, right? And somebody uploaded this image, right, 3 months ago. That image has been downloaded, and we are running our containers from this image. That we have not created this image, right? We are using ready-made image from Docker hub, right, which was created 3 months ago, right? So this timestamp will not match. But when you start the content from this image, it will take today's date and time. All right. So we remove the container, and we saw that container folder is now empty. Image folder is still having the details of image because my image is still available. We have not removed. All right. Now if I remove this image, what is the command for removing the image, guys? RMI. All right. RM for containers and RMI means image. right? So no contradiction, no conflict, right? Both the guys have their own command. Container has rm command, image has rmi command, right? They are not having the same command. So no fight, no conflict, right? No contradiction. They have their own command, right? RMI. And you can use Nginx with the full name, Nginx latest, or you can use the ID. Normally ID is much more convenient, but if you want to use the name, then always use with the tag latest. Always use with the tag latest. If you don't use the tag, and there is some tag here, tag 20.04, and you are using just the name, it will get confused because every image has its own tag. So now if you see, it has removed everything. All right. Now if I go and check back, right, in this folder, right, so I will just say cat, not here, cat command, yeah, here. So if you see, the repository.json is now empty, nothing is there, no contents are available in this file. All right, no contents are available in this file. All right, so that is how it will always maintain the details inside the file. So whenever we say var lib docker, right? So Docker is a very simplified application. It maintains all the details in a respective folder. Containers info will go into containers folder, images info will go into image folder, and tomorrow when I begin with other thing, maybe volumes or other things, right? Other plugins or network information, it will go into the respective folder. It's a very simplified application, right? And it will dynamically update the thing, right? So this is how we have done, and you should also see docker version command. So you can use hyphen version or just docker version. Then docker, right? So docker service. In Ubuntu, we don't need to start the service. Let me tell you about the service command also. So basically, docker daemon is a service, all right? And the name of the service is also docker. So service, right? And I want to just check the status of service. What is the name of service? Docker. Service docker, name of service is docker, and what I want to check status. If you see here, right, my docker service, right, is basically my docker application, right? My docker application is having this service, right? This service we also call docker container engine, right? Container engine. If you see in my previous slide, we were using this thing, container engine slide. Where architecture, right? Container engine, right? This container engine is nothing but Docker, right? So we can also call container engine, right? And this service is actively up and running since today's date and time, Monday, and this is UTC time, right? Around 51 minutes ago. 51 minutes means almost an hour. We started this Docker installation. That during that time, it is up and running, right? So for official part and all that thing, always go to the official document, and this is the processor ID my Docker is running. 2541 is my process ID, and we also say Docker daemon as a Docker D. All right, Docker daemon is also called Docker D, right? And this is my path where it is running, from where it is running. So basically, it's a Docker service where it is running. All right, so we can see the status here. So Ubuntu don't need to start the service. Control C and Control Z and come out. So service, right? And the service name is Docker, and we just check the status, right? If your service is, or you want to restart, just say here restart or start, right? When you say start, it will start it again, right? Now if I go and check the status, I'll just check it here, right? So my Docker service we just restarted, right? So it will just start and my service again up and running. All right, but in Ubuntu, no need to start the service, it will automatically do. So let me go back to this command, right? So Docker info, Docker pull, Docker images, or Docker image ls, right? Same way Docker ps or Docker container ls, right? Docker ps hyphen a, Docker run. These are the command, right? Hyphen d, and image name or Docker container run, right? We use Docker run only, right? Last time I showed you Docker run hyphen help, right? And in that also we saw Docker container run or just Docker run, right? So either of the fine thing. Then Docker start stop, Then to remove the container, we use rm command and -f. You don't want to stop, right? With the single command you want to remove, just a container ID, give one space, container ID 2, like that, like that, like that. In the same command, you can start or stop multiple containers. And RMI is for images. All right, RMI is for images. RMI is for images, and top command or the stats command, which will display your processor and resources list, right? So all that are available here. Now, since we have a time, let's do something interesting. All right, so my container is not running. So let me bring my container back, right? So let's say use any container. So Docker run. Always we use dit, always, right? So it's a static argument. We'll be passing it. Name, give any name. Let's say jellyfish. Any name you can give. All right. And if you want to use port number, if you want to expose application from outside, then use port number. If you don't want to use, that's fine, right? Let's say Ubuntu, right? And let's say colon, use any, let's say explicit version I want to use, let's say 20.04. So Docker run, first it will do the search on my local machine. If the image is there, it will find it and start running. If it not, then it will download the image. Right? It will download the image and start the container also. Right? So there's a difference. The image ID will always be having SSH256. Container ID doesn't have SSH256. It will just display the ID. Right? So basically, this is your content. So up till here, it will pull the image. Right? It will pull the image. These are the output of full image, and immediately when the image is available, it will start the container also. How do you know? Because the command we can just go and verify, right? So if you see here, this is my 12-digit ID, right? This is my 12-digit ID, which is coming from this big number, but for 12-digit. So beginning 12-digit number is here. It exactly coming from here. 996 1C 544787, then A51, right? So this is the same ID. Coming from which image? The image which you just downloaded, which this is the image, right? So we started the console. It will do both the job, right? It will do both the job. That is why in the morning, at the beginning, we discussed this thing that instead of two commands, we can have the command. It will automatically do the search on my local machine. And if it also, if it's not, then it will also start downloading the image and then start the content. That is what it has done. All right. This is the name I gave. Port number we haven't mentioned, so it is empty, right? Now, whenever you start the application, right, there is no source code available because we have not done any installation, right? So all the containers, they come with a writable layer, means shell. So we can go inside this container. To go inside the container, we use execute command, right? We use execute command to go inside the container because outside I cannot do anything, right? I cannot see even the source code because then nothing has been installed, right? So we have to always go inside the container. To go inside the container, we use only one command, and that command is called docker execute command, or the first four letters, this we say docker exec, right? The first four letters of exec. Don't worry about it. Just stay focused here because all the slides and everything is here for you, so you don't worry about it, right? I already created the slides for you, right, with the screenshots. Where am I? Full image, docker run container, stop, kill, RMI, fine. Not here, fine. Okay, so in the next slide, it's here, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm doing this thing, right? So basically I'm inside. So when you go inside, this is the command I'm using, right? So docker execute command to go inside, right? So this is the command I'm using it. All right, so I'll share everything. All the slides are available. So we are just going inside this container. To go inside the container, always use docker exec. And what was the argument we were using? dit, right? Since I'm going inside, so I cannot run in background. So just drop one argument called D, right? Right, and use instead use only IT. IT means interactive terminal session. I want to go inside this container, do some action with my own session. So always create, right? So pass this argument, right? So drop the letter D because we are not running in background, right? We will be going inside this container, right? How we are going by execute command. For the first four letter of the command is exec. Which container you want to go inside? You can use the name, right, or the ID. Anything is fine. Let me use ID. Copy, right? Once you go inside, always use shell, right? So Linux comes with a bash shell. There are two shells. Basically, one is called sh, right? Old all legacy applications running on sh shell, but the latest application they are running on bash. right? So BA, bash and sh, right? So bash, always use this. This is the shell. Why we need this shell, bash shell? Because I will be firing some commands. So using this shell, I can fire Linux command also or Docker command also. So basically, bash will give me the command line. And using the command line, when I'm inside the container, and if I have the command line available, I can do all my actions, all my activities I can perform. Right. So always go with the shell. Right. So we are going inside by using this command, exec command. All right, this command and -it integrated administration. This container I'm going inside here. Now see here, we are still on the host machine. This is the IP address. But the moment you go inside the container, you will be having a container ID here instead of host machine. So I'm going inside. Now you see, I'm inside the container. No more on host machine, but I'm inside the container. How do you know? Since we are having the shell with us, right? So this shell will give me the command line. Linux shell always gives you command line. So if you see the ls, you see all the folders are available. That means my Nginx source code is now visible to me, right? So Nginx source code is available here. And this source code is coming from where? From the image Ubuntu, right? From the image Ubuntu. So all these folders we are able to see here. All right. So all these folders are available here inside this image. All right. So this is how you always have to go inside the container, right? So we have to always go inside the container. So now we are inside the container, right? So if you see, I'm no more on the host machine, I'm inside the container, right? And here you can do whatever you want, right? Because containers come with a writable layer, images are read only, right? That's the basic difference between the thing. If you forgot, remember, right? While discussing, we discuss about all that. Let me go back to my slide so that you guys can know, right? When we were on this slide, where is my pointer, pointer, pointer? Let me take pointer. Right? As I said, images are our installer, right? MS Office install, when I gave the example, images are read only. You cannot modify the content of image. They are read only. But once you start the content from that image, right, you can go and do anything. Right? It means when you have MS Office, right, from MS Office, I can launch the Word application and create my document. Or I can launch from MS Office, I can launch MS presentation and create my presentation. I can modify slide tomorrow. I can save my presentation today, and tomorrow if I want to update, add slide or modify, I can do that. So same way, containers also come as a read and write, writable layer, right? So we can modify container. But what is the rule? You have to be inside the container, right? Outside, because we have not installed anything, so you will not find anything. You have to be always inside the container. And remember, to go inside the container, it's always good idea to go with the shell. Right? Once you go with the shell, you can fire all the commands, right? With all the commands. So if I want to do ls on, let's say, any folder, let's say opt folder, yeah, this folder opt, right? And I can check the content of ls opt. In opt nothing is there. Okay, no, I find, I write only ls command, right? Nothing is there. So likewise, we can check, right? Can I check on which folder? Let's say user, right? So I'm inside this folder usr, right? So you will see all the things. Can I go one more deep down here folder? So like that, we can go to all these folders, right? So we can see all the things inside the, and I'm still inside the container. This is my container ID, right? Which container? You will always see container ID. This is our container ID, isn't it? So it will display your container ID. That means you are inside this container. If I'm running 10 containers and I'm in one, which container I'm in, it will display the ID here that you are in this, right? So I'm inside this 961 container, right? 961 container, which is my jellyfish container. Right? We are inside this container. Now, once you are here, we are here with with shell, right? We are still inside the container. All right. So you can do whatever you want. Let's say I want to create one directory, right? Or let me first display ls, right? And you can display ls hyphen l, right? I'm using ls to display what horizontal only, but if you want to display vertical, it will display all the folders in vertical also, right? All that is fine. So we are here. Now, if you want to create something, let's say make directory, right? Test 1, 2, 3, or anything. Let's say test 007 is my directory. Now if you see here, I've created one directory, right? Test 007. Basically, it's arranged in chronological order. So alpha, beta letter B will come, then D, E, like that, like that. So T is somewhere here, temp and test, right? So TM will come later, TE will come first, right? So it is created here. If I can go into this folder, test 123, test 007, I can go inside this folder. Now you see nothing is there. Can I create one file quickly? Yes, I can create one file. So welcome to Docker. All right, and let me save this file by the name welcome.txt. Right now, what happened? Okay,
Yeah,
we have
missing
to
echo.
use echo command. Yeah, we are missing echo. Okay, so this file is created. Is it created? Yes, created. Can I see the content of this file? So cat command. Cat command will display the contents of the file. So what this is the message I put. Welcome to Docker. All right. So I've created one file also. Right. Now to come outside this container, right? My job is done. I want to exit from here. So say exit command. When you say exit, you will be back to your host machine. You are back to your host machine, right? And only thumb rule you have to remember, right? The thumb rule here is the container should be up and running. This container should be up and running. Then only you can go inside. And there's only one command, right? Whether you are on Linux, Solaris, Windows, or any operating system, only one command which is exec, right? So Docker has only one command, right? Not too many things, only one command. And whether you're in development environment, testing environment, or the production environment, or the client-side production environment, is the only command, right? So we can go inside, give the container name or container ID because name is associated with the ID, right? Name is associated with this ID or ID is associated by the name. I can call by name or by ID. Both are attached to each other, right? And always use a shell. All right, so this is how we go inside, right? Once I fire this command and I see my folder is here, everything is there. Can I see the content of my file inside the folder test 007 and the file name is welcome. So everything is here. So we are again inside. To come out, exit. When you come out, exit, you are on the host machine. All right, we are on the back to host machine. Now, what is the rule? The container should be up and running. Right? Only that is the thing you have to remember. That means if I stop this container, for example, stop, what is the container name? Let's say jellyfish. Right? You can use ID or name. I'm using the name this time. So my container is stopped. Now if I just go and check Docker PS, this container is not available. It means it is not running. When I check -A, this container is stopped. That means it is exited. It was running since last 11 minutes ago, but I have exited it now, right? Now, if you want to go inside this container, you will not be able to go because what is the condition? The container should be up and running, and that is true also. My application is not running. How can I go inside, right? So you see the response from daemon. Daemon means it's a Docker daemon, right? So it says your container, this full ID, my container ID is not running. What is the thumb rule? My container should be up and running. Then only I can go inside. If my container is not running, where will I go? Right? If nothing is running, where will I go? Nowhere, right? So that is right only thing you should remember. So let me start it again. So instead of stop, let me say, all right, now it is running or not. Let me check first with ps-a. Yes, it is again up and running, right? Last 3 seconds, it is up again. All right, now if I want to go inside, I should be able to go inside. All right, now again, I'm back. So what is the thumb rule? The container should be up and running, then only we'll go. If the application is not running, where will you go? All right. Now, once your application is running, you get to see everything. All right. You will get to see everything. All right. So it is like this thing. So remember, right? So we did some basic things. Today we did so many things, right? We pulled the image, we started the container, but by only one command, Docker run command. Docker run command will do both the job, right? It will find the image, right? It will find the image. If the image is not available, it will automatically start downloading the image. Right? It will start downloading the image and then it will start the container also. It will do both the action, download and the start, right? So both actions will do in one go. So no need to have multiple commands. Only one command will do it, right? So Docker run command, right? So this is what we discussed and then we open application on port number and we even tested the application, right? Nginx application was up and running. We all tested it, right? On port 80 right? That is how, this is the power of container. This is the power of Docker, right? So containers are very, very simplified thing. And then we saw here how the artifacts are managed, right? So what is the default, the root path of Docker, varlib Docker, and inside that container folder maintains all the artifact information or the metadata information of my container inside the container folder, image information inside the image folder. So the architecture is really simplified. And now whenever you want to do any operation, when I want to customize any folder, any source code, we have to put inside the container. To go inside container, only one command is there, Docker, right? It is always advised to be there inside container with the shell, right? With the shell, right? I'll be doing every day going forward, right? Today was just a simple thing which I wanted to show you, and we went inside, we created one directory, we created one welcome.txt file, right? Next time we will do other things also. All right. So tomorrow
Yeah,
again we'll meet
yeah.
and we'll do all that things.
A quick question here. Since we went inside a container, it's basically as Ubuntu, right? It's Ubuntu. We spin up a image.
Yeah, image was Ubuntu. Yes,
Correct.
yes,
So within a container again, we can we put another container here? I mean, pull another
yes,
image here,
yes,
right? It's going nested,
yes,
nested, right?
yes. So if you know the full stack application or application stack, my application stack means my application is dependent on many things. There my the front end dependent on back end again have a middle tier. So all that is there. So that I will do tomorrow.
Uh,
All right,
Prashant,
because I have to discuss and
one
a
question,
lot of
Prashant.
information. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, and
Guys, it will be nice if you mention your name when you ask questions because
yeah,
I'm not able to see your name so that we can recognize
yeah,
you
this is
or my
Sandeep.
start. Yes, Sandeep.
Uh, this is the default path or varlib Docker, the installation.
Default path.
Okay, even if in the real time also,
Yes, this is the default path. That is why when I say Docker info, it displays the default path
that's
and
right. But yeah, if you want to customize, can we or it's not allowed?
yeah, you basically it will not allow because the architecture is designed in this path. You see
Okay.
container folder, volume folder, plugin folder, right? And nobody customize it. The system path will never change. But there is a way we can even do that. But a lot of things you have to do. You have to stop service, customize path, register service, start the service, then the service will start from that path and all that. But normally we don't change. 99% we don't change this path. Root path, every application has its own system inbuilt path because the architecture application designed in that way. It will read all the variable, driver, plugin, storage, image, container, everything from the default path. So we don't change. You can change it. It's not a hardcore thing.
Okay.
So whenever you install Docker, you will see this path, Docker.
Mm. So even real time also we'll be using varlib Docker.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
exactly. All right. As a good habit, I will be sending you all the commands. So guys, if you have not registered, you will not be able to see all the things and document all that things. Normally they start sharing with the registered people. So if you're not registered, right, and if you still want to test your trainer and you are waiting, I would say just go for registration so that you will be in sync with all the links, recording and all documentation. All right, guys. So we have done things, and I'll be
Uh,
sharing each and every slide. Everything is there on my slide, and I'll be sharing it with you guys. Yeah, go ahead,
hey
please.
Prashant,
Somebody was asking.
this is Rama here. Where I need to register? This is my first class today.
Yeah, who's your coordinator from Visualpath?
Um, Actually, one of my friend has referred here, but I
Okay,
need to get the contact.
okay. So Visualpath, if you see who is from Visualpath, okay, you can check with Malti from Visualpath. Do you have the number of Visualpath and all those things?
Yeah. I,
Okay,
I reached out to them. I think they reached out me with the
okay,
details. So
fine.
yeah, I
Just
can
coordinate
coordinate.
with them and tell them
Okay,
that I have attended this session, but I want to register for the full course.
okay,
Because normally
sure.
what happens, no, immediately, probably tomorrow they'll change the link and only registered people will they share the link and then we will continue from the new link.
Can you give me some basic details like how long this training will go and how many
Docker we
sessions?
need around Docker we need around 15 sessions and then around 20 to 25 sessions for Kubernetes. Kubernetes is very vast thing.
Okay.
and every 1.5 hours. So you can count number of hours and all that.
Okay. So this is for mostly 1.5 month, right?
1.5 month, but since people requested that, okay, instead of 1 hour, we will do 1.5 hour every day, and we will try to finish in 1 month. That is the goal.
Okay. Great. Great. Okay.
Okay,
That's good.
and people also requested me to have sessions on Saturday. So we are not having session only from Monday to Friday, but even Monday to Saturday. And if people feel that, okay, Sunday also everybody is available, because normally we take consensus on Saturday or Friday, that who's available, who's not available. If everybody is available, we can take even short, small sessions on Sundays also. If people availability and they want to really do this post fast and all that thing. So based on consensus, sometimes we even reschedule on Saturday, Sunday based on everybody's agreement. That alignment I will check on Friday.
So any kind of some sample projects will that we'll run through, or
Yes. So we will do couple of projects here. Even assignment also we will do. So projects I'll take full project from Java application. So using Maven framework, Spring Boot framework, complete. I'll take just the source code of Java. Then I'll containerize it. I'll do the build of Java application. I'll do the testing by running some test cases, and then I'll execute as a container. And then we will do the testing the way we did Nginx testing. So Spring Boot is basically a chat messaging application. So we'll be doing chatting messaging from the Java application, which I build from purely from the source code. So what that is for one full project on Java. Similarly, I'll do one full project on Python, because these are the hot domains in market, right? If you see data models and data analytics, they use all Python. So we'll do full end to end, right from source code, build the image, then deploy the container, then do the testing and all that thing. We will be doing it for Java, Python, and all other domains. So there are full-fledged projects available going forward. Plus, I'll be doing automation also, where I will be teaching you microservices architecture, and then we start creating our own services, right?
okay.
So within single click, my microservice will do everything. It will create image, it will pull image, it will deploy container, it will start port number, services, everything through the service with a single click. So that kind of automation also we will using Docker Compose.
Hey, Prashant,
And
this
then
is
we'll
Srinivas here.
create the cluster based. Yeah,
Okay.
Sydney.
Sorry
Okay.
for
Thank you,
sorry
Prashant.
for that.
No
So,
worries, no worries.
we already reached out to that trainer training center for this registration link. If you don't mind, like, can we share that registration link here in the chat window as well? So tomorrow when the class starts, right? Probably they can share the link and we can go register from there.
No, probably they will follow with you, right? So then they will register and they will, because they have not created the link today. So in late
Okay.
evening, they'll create the link and they'll have your registered email IDs, and they will send you all the details. They'll create one WhatsApp group also. So registered people will be synced with the WhatsApp group, and they'll update you everything on WhatsApp group, link, information, recording link and everything. So that is why I'm requesting, please just go and register yourself so that you cannot miss on any information.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, guys. So if no more questions, then we are good to end this meeting. And once again, thanks for joining in. And have a good day. And I'll see you again tomorrow morning, same time.
Yeah. Thank you.